okay, my bad. There's a power button. Ha, 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 ha. Hey, welcome back to the Code Repair, whether you're a long-time viewer or a new subscriber like. We appreciate every single one of you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Now, I am in my garage, and I'm going to show you my setup. As of right now, I have a NEMA 1450 on the wall with a Tesla mobile connector charger right here, right? And it goes up to my EV hover, which helps my charger reach all the way over to my Model 3 over my Model X that belongs right here. And I went this route because I didn't want to just be solely stuck in the Tesla ecosystem, right? So I wanted to have different EVs down the line, and this 220 outlet would be able to supply any kind of EV instead of having just a standalone Tesla charger. But the problem with using this mobile connector is it has a maximum of 32 amps. The people over at Lectron has a 48 amp EV charging station. 48 amps. The same as the Tesla wall connector. 48 amps. 48 amps. That plugs into the 1450. So if you already have a 1450 like I do, if you already have this and you get one of these, you can get the fastest charge available, right? So I just opened it to take a look, and we're going to take a deeper look at this a little bit later. Charging adapter. We'll talk about that a little later. We got a 20-foot long cable, which I'm going to need to reach all around. Built with rugged materials, compatible. Yeah. Let's see what it looks like. User manual, how to install it and all that. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you right away, it's a lot lighter than the last one I had up on my wall. That was 40 amps. This is a lot lighter. And I like the look of that. Pretty cool. Futuristic. And it does have a Tesla vibe, right? Has a Tesla vibe. LCD screen, small branding, but that little cone, it looks futuristic. Looks like mounting hardware. All right, so here's the cable. Just looking at the cable size, right? 48 amps compared to 32 amps. Look at that. It's a big, heavy cable. So here's this. About the same, but a lot bigger, more substantial, right, than the mobile wall connector. This is what the Tesla connector looks like. So when you remove this nice cover, that's cool. It's obviously different. But this is where the charging adapter comes in, right? Now, Tesla does provide a charging adapter. Let me go ahead and grab it. But what I like is if I get one from them like this, I can keep it on here and it can stay on here. And I can keep the one that comes with the car in the car in case I ever need it when I'm out and about. But having this on the car at all times would be pretty good. But let me just compare those two. So here's the one I keep in the car that is from Tesla, right? Sit it right here. And here's the one from Lectron. Very similar. Looks pretty much the same. Look at that. Looks pretty much the same. Connectors look the same. A couple of these connectors here look maybe copper from the Tesla one. But honestly, I can't really tell them apart. And I want to make sure I keep them. But that's a good thing, right? It looks just like the Tesla one. They look exactly the same. which is good. You can keep, oh, this one's a little more tapered. You see that? A little more tapered. This one's like barely noticeable. And if I put this on here, just like this, perfect, just like that. So now it's gonna plug into the Tesla, no problem, right? This cable is long, so I can plug it in here and I can actually move this around where I want it. The last problem was I had to put, because this is using the stud right here, right? It's a stud right here, so I couldn't mount it right here. But I have another stud right here, and it can reach. I can move this where I want it. So that is key. Look how long this is. A good 3 feet. A good 3 feet long. So that's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set it up. To show you guys what I did, I went ahead and hung it on my EV hover so it could hold most of the weight, and it holds it. This EV hover holds up to 20 pounds, and this is nothing, right? This is nothing to it. But it's gonna hold the weight so I can see exactly where I wanna set this up. Now, it's not so heavy. It doesn't even need to be mounted on studs according to the instructions, and it's actually kind of light. All right, first I gotta remove these screws. 1, 2, and 2 more on the other side. And this right here is our mounting plate. And you'll see it matches up perfectly with the reference paper that they set up, right? Boom. Watch this. Simple as that. I'm gonna screw it in. And like I said, it's not heavy at all, so let's go ahead and plug it in. It ain't going nowhere. Okay, here it is. Moment of truth. Typically, I check and see if stuff worked before I hook it up and install it, but I didn't do it this time, so let's see. Here we go. Okay, my bad. There's a power button. There it is. Dope, dope, dope. But we're gonna go ahead and test it on the car. Okay, so this charges perfectly fine on my Model 3 at 32 amps, no issues. But on my Model X, which can charge all the way up to 48 amps, there is an issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and have my charging set to 48 amps. Hopefully you can see that okay. It's set to 48 amps. Flickering, it's set to 48 amps, right? And let's see what happens. Open, plugging in. Lectron, baby. Go ahead and hit that button. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. Waiting. If we look at the car, starting to charge, but if you look closer, it says unable to charge. And then we take a look here, and it's red. No good, right? No good. So I went ahead and turned this off. Here's what I needed to do. And I was tinkering with this for a while. Here's what I had to do. Now, if I set this to 40 amps, and do it all again. And I'm gonna plug it back in. Bam. At 40 amps, look at it go now. The car is set to 40 amps. Now, just so you guys know, my breaker, I do have a 60 amp breaker, and your breaker size does matter when it comes to the amperage. So my breaker will allow up to 48 amps, but you see it stops at 40. You look in the car, 40 out of 48, no problem, right? It says 4 hours and 15 minutes, but here's what I did try. I came in and I switched this back up to 48. Just like that. Now look. It says 48 amps. And if we look here, now it went up to just about 48 amps. So I'm wondering why, and I've tried this over and over. I'm wondering why I have to set it to 40 in the car first before I can get it up to 48 amps. I reached out to them. They said it's a limitation of the Model X. I don't know much about that, and I don't really know. It is a little inconvenient. 40 amps is still good, but I want 48 amps, and I don't want to have to do that every time to reach 48 amps. Now, if we look here, now it only says 3 hours and 35 minutes. So it does make a difference, 40 and 40 amps, right? It does make a difference. But my only question is, why is that happening? So, yes, 48 amps for a Model X, but there is a caveat. And, you know, 40 amps is still good, but they have 40 amp chargers out there as well. So until I figure that out, that's where I am. I would say it's a good product. It looks good. There's no app for it, which I don't care because I have the Tesla app. I don't need redundancy. But like I said, I want 48 without having to go in and enable it every time. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, Cobra told ya and Cobra showed ya. All right, y'all.